3, 2, 1. Okay, that's just for me to do the edit later. So,
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry. Nothing official or anything like that.
So it hasn't started. This is just...
we can if you want.
Oh,
so.
no. I'm just guessing whether it's really recording now.
Okay, so welcome, guys, to the show. So maybe for the audience to explain, we've never met.
No.
This is like probably the riskiest kind of episode I've ever done. Super off the cuff, but I think I wanted to give live feedback. So you guys contacted me on LinkedIn, and you guys were looking feedback on your products very specifically.
Right.
And I figured since I'm making content anyway, I've done angel investing. I know a bunch of angels. I think it's a good platform for founders, entrepreneurs to kind of, come in here, tell the story, brand.
Right.
Do that thing, and then we could do a product jam session. That was kind of the idea. So, that's the context for the audience.
Okay.
And then, so I actually don't really know your full names.
Okay.
I actually don't know anything. So I, on purpose, didn't do any research. Typically, I do a lot of research.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Same about us. We know nothing about you.
Yeah, which is like this could be a complete flop.
Yeah.
Could be a great idea. Could be a bad idea. But I think what I was going for is authentic.
Okay.
Yeah. So why don't you just like the structure we agreed on, right? So give me like a brief, maybe one-liner about who you are, and then we could do your elevator pitch.
Okay.
For the audience.
So maybe the who we are, we could talk about the individual first,
yeah,
and then
sure.
maybe into the product or company.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Dima.
me first. Okay.
Yes, Dima, go ahead.
So I'm IT entrepreneur with 15 years already.
Can you talk right into the mic? Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
So I am IT guy. I'm doing IT business.
Let's start with your name.
My name is Dimitry. You can call me Dima. This is my short name.
Okay.
I'm Russian. I have built a software development company. It's about 200 employees.
Okay.
We are
based
remote.
in Russia.
No, we are a remote company
Okay,
at
remote
all.
Company.
We have some guys in Russia, but mostly out of Russia.
Okay.
We work with banks, mostly with Central Asia banks. We do customer software development.
Okay. All right. And then...
Okay. So now it's me, Whei Chern.
Whei Chern.
My name is Whei Chern.
Okay.
I have been in healthcare in the corporate sector for over 20 years.
Okay.
And that's my background. So I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. Dima has a family too.
Okay.
And 2 years back, I had a midlife crisis. Went back to school, did a master's of Science and Innovation at Singapore Management University.
Okay.
And that's how we started MIEA. It was a capstone project for my final year.
So it's coming from SMU out of...
Yes. So we were part of their incubator because we passed their selection. The company.
Okay.
The company survived. It's part of the incubator. We got selected by Enterprise SG as one of their supporting startups.
Okay.
And how I met Dimitry. So now we go a little bit into the company introduction.
Okay.
Because he's Russian, I'm Singaporean.
Yeah.
So how did that happen, right? So as we developed, MIEA started first as a monitoring tool for the individual to get connected with their healthcare provider, and then we automate the whole monitoring process for doctors to keep in touch with their patients. So as we grew this, we needed a solution, to have the ease of monitoring, because what we found was in an Asian context is very different. People share devices, so when we tried device integration, there was a problem. Your grandma would share it with grandpa, and then and let the grandkids play with it. So the data that we got was very dirty. It wasn't direct, although it was meant to be a data direct pull. So we needed an OCR solution.
OCR?
For it to take a picture and the data would be drawn directly.
For the audience who doesn't know, what is OCR? Singaporeans have a terrible habit of making an acronym for everything.
Apologies. So basically, we needed a solution that could pull data without a device integrated. So we wanted them to be able to use the camera on their phones to just snap a picture and then have that data pulled directly and put it into a database. And that's how I connected with Dima, because he, as a software developer, has developed such a thing for his company. So Dima's experience, really, he has a software development firm that deals mainly with banks. But his passion is in healthcare. In his heart, he's a doctor. And so when we connected, he's so passionate about the sector. And I don't have that technical capability. So when I met him and his passion towards healthcare, I think that's where we connected. So this for him is a passion project. And this to me is a passion project because I've had 20 over years in the corporate sector. I was head of communications for public and private hospitals. So to me, this is kind of like the 100-Year Life, the book that said you have different transitions in life.
So can you explain that more?
Okay. So in this day and age, right, we have more than one career. I mean, in the past, it's very common. You graduate, you have a job, you stick with it, you retire, and then you just enjoy life. But longevity is growing. People live longer. And what do you do with the second half of your life, right?
I see.
Yeah. So with that in mind, what do I do after my corporate career? And that's why I had that midlife crisis and going back to school and trying something different. And then meeting new people. So Dima, I met him, I loved his solution, and we decided to work together. So now we're on this entrepreneurship journey together.
I see.
Right? I see. And I'm trying to learn Russian, but I'm still...
Yeah, I'm trying to learn English.
How exactly did you guys meet?
Just networking.
Yeah.
I was,
networking. So like one of these...
LinkedIn.
And then you went to these events together or something?
To be honest, Chen, I had your pitch deck before we met.
Okay.
Some guy sent it to me in a secret mode, in a stealth mode.
Different version from this one, right?
Yeah, different version. We already pivoted 2 times.
Okay.
And I was very excited to meet you. But in that day, my phone was absolutely discharged. The battery was died, and that we meet, that was really a miracle. Because I went to wrong place. If you remember.
That's right. He went to the wrong place.
Oh, okay, with the dead phone.
Yes.
Yeah, with the dead phone.
Wow. Okay.
So I guess it's fated. It's fated.
Okay.
And we've been partners for close to a year on this project.
Very early then.
Yeah, about a year. But I mean, I like how responsible and responsive he is, and the ability to do iterations on the product because we've got a live team that actually does and then I have the network within the healthcare facility industry, and we've got clients. So it's been a very exciting journey so far. But MIEA, we've pivoted. So instead of monitoring, now we have actually moved on to being a virtual assistant. So we do appointments. So people on chat, we're on WhatsApp. So it's like chatting to a person, but it's actually automation and AI. So you have conversations with the bot. You can make appointments. You can ask questions. On the clinic side, they can get information filled out on their forms. But to the customer, it's really just having a conversation. There is no app to download. There's nothing to stop you from conversing and from giving instructions.
Okay. Let's go back a little bit. So Dimitry, why were you so excited to meet Whei Chern, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because we had similar ideas. I did. I'm still doing the application for hypertension people. An app. Yeah, it's a mobile app. I'm very passionate with medicine, with the healthcare, and my motivation is to build something useful for million people. If doing this, I can. If I will able to say that I saved couple of lives during this journey, that will be great. And I saw Chen's first pitch deck, and I thought, great idea to do this through the WhatsApp.
Okay. So can be specific. What was the exact specific idea that you were attracted to?
Yeah, the idea to build traction of hypertension through the WhatsApp without any other, without any other layers, without any other apps. This is brilliant.
Okay, and this was the original.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you were attracted to that idea, and then you guys met up, and then I guess the rest is short history, I guess.
It's a pretty short history.
Okay, understand. Okay, and so let's go back a little bit more again. So can you concisely tell me what your elevator pitch is? Like a one-liner.
Right now?
Yeah.
Our product?
Yeah.
Well, just so say if you're pitching a VC, which I guess you eventually, are you raising now?
Yes, we are.
Okay, there you go. Well, you have to have this ready, right? So what you would tell an investor?
It's an AI virtual assistant that works on behalf of the clinic to
Okay,
help
so
them.
the company is MIEA,
Right.
MIEA Health,
Right.
MIEA Health.
That's right.
Okay, and then
It's basically a virtual assistant to help the clinic connect with the patient and get stuff done. So it's
okay.
I guess you were saying the competitive advantage, right? What's that thing that would appeal? It's the ability to really seamlessly integrate into the operations
The operations of
the clinic.
okay.
Yeah, for implementation.
Okay, so all right, let me kind of recap. So MIEA Health is a application.
It is, but it's embedded into WhatsApp.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's an embedded
In what
application.
sense application? This is not in a mobile app.
Yeah.
This is the cloud-based application.
Okay, so it's a cloud-based app that allows seamless integration to healthcare providers
That's right. On how they interact with their patients.
for interacting with patients.
That's right. So anything you
Yes.
need to get done outside of the clinic, MIEA can help you do that.
Okay. I'm a little lost in that. So, okay, so I'm a person that needs to go to a doctor.
Right.
So how would I use MIEA?
Okay.
And then what am I like? What I guess what I'm getting is like, I don't like in that elevator pitch. It's not very clear to me what the problem solution is.
Okay. We are helping doctors connect with their patients in terms of anything that needs to be done outside of the clinic. So
Okay.
my pitch is to doctors. So if you're a clinic, this is a virtual assistant that will help you manage your patients.
Okay, a virtual assistant to help manage patients.
So anything your clinic assistant needs to do, follow up with patients, give patients information, collect
Okay.
information, give advance reminders,
Okay.
making appointments. That whole schmooze of items can be done by a virtual assistant.
And have you talked to many investors yet?
We have a few. It's our first time into Malaysia. So
Okay.
this is our first
Okay.
roadshow into Malaysia.
Okay, so you are here to primarily meet investors.
Investors and potential partners.
Okay.
MIEA was created to be a Southeast Asia product. So we are pricing it low as a subscription service. So we're a SaaS.
Okay, you're SaaS.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. So you can turn us on, turn us off as and when you like. That makes it easy. So you don't have to put a whole pile of money into investing into creating your own software
Okay.
or CRM. You can just turn it on, put in customer leads, and then off we go. So first time into Malaysia, so we have met a few. It's been interesting conversations. They have given us very good feedback. We're pretty new.
Okay.
So at this point, we are really just connecting, getting engaged.
Okay.
Because the fundraising cycle, it's not immediate.
Yeah,
We have to make that relationship, get to know people.
Yeah.
So that's the phase where we're in.
What has your sense been in terms of willingness to invest? Are people holding onto their purse strings? Are people
Yeah.
very eager to invest? Is it
I think Southeast Asia market it's a hard sell these days. I think there's a lot of pullback because they have yet to see huge returns from Southeast Asian startups.
okay?
But I think the interest is there. As a 10-month-old product,
Yeah.
we were actually happy, pleasantly surprised that we had people who were open to talking to us. Most of them do see potential in it. They were excited and they ask a lot of questions, which we really are grateful for because it shows that there's interest, right? Otherwise, they won't even bother to meet up. And they asked really good questions that got us thinking as well,
Yes.
in terms of revenues, sales cycles, how do we do the pitch, how many salespeople do you have? So I'm excited that there are questions about what we do. And they have told us to actively keep in touch with them. They want to hear from us.
Yeah.
That to me, I think is a win at this point.
You're talking about potential stakeholders in the value chain, or you're talking about investors specifically?
Investors specifically.
Okay, very
to your
specifically
questions.
investors.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
interesting.
But partners as well. We've met a couple of clinic owners.
Okay.
Of course, the business model, pricing, these are all things that we are still adjusting in terms of our iteration.
Okay.
But it's given us good insights that how healthcare is like in Singapore and how healthcare is like in Malaysia.
Yeah.
It's different. And how they function, how they operate, their needs, their wants, they're all pretty different.
Yeah, and your idea is to start primarily in Singapore first, but then you're also, I guess you're putting feelers out in for Malaysia. So you're not sure what, in terms of product direction, where
We're
strategically
mainly
you'll be
based in Singapore, so we have already active clients in Singapore. We're servicing
paying customers? Or?
Yes, paying customers.
Very
We have a few paying customers. We have signed a few contracts. So by 2024 we would have about 10, 12 customers,
Paying
customers. We've got contracts signed. Right now, we are really adjusting ourselves because we've got big customers and we've got small clinics.
Yeah.
They're all interested in the product, but the way we service them, we're still getting into the whole comfort area. Like, how comfortable are we? Because servicing AstraZeneca versus servicing a one-man clinic, it's obviously different. Very different. Yeah. But the product's the same.
Yeah.
So these are things that we ask ourselves and we question ourselves. How do we build a better business model? Yeah. But there is interest in the product. But as a business, I think that's something that we're still exploring.
I think it's very interesting. This past year, I've come across at least a handful of healthcare tech startups kind of cropping up.
Right.
So there's a lot of interest, right? Because I mean, the main story, I guess, for the past few years would be AI and crypto.
Right.
Right. And deal flow pretty much exclusively kind of goes there. But I guess you're kind of you're using AI as a technology as a layer into solving a very specific healthcare problem. Right. So it's interesting. Do you get the same kind of feeling and vibe? Do you have any peers in healthcare? Do you feel that there's investor excitement, or do you see builders? Like, what's the general sense from a healthcare perspective in Southeast Asia?
In Southeast Asia, I would say it's not easy. Dima would have a lot more to say about the product, because you can call yourself AI, right? Yeah. But it's not easy. There is no magic under the hood. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of tweaks on the prompts, a lot of experimental, templates that goes on. So his engineers work very, very hard, and we have. I've got 25 years in the experience. So Dima is the tech component. I'm the network component. So I make
I'm not
leverage.
a tech person. I have
you're not a technical founder.
Sorry?
You're not a technical background? Or?
In my past, I was UI UX designer. This is my first job.
Okay, so more of a product guy.
Yes,
I'm more product guy. Yes, not so technical.
Okay.
So I would like to know your feedback about our elevator pitch. I understand this is not this is not excellent so far. What you
okay? If you want very specifically about what we talked about, so we've gone about 15 minutes or so,
right?
Past this, kind of a little bit of a small chat. I think we could have condensed it down to maybe 5 minutes,
right?
Right. So like one-liners about yourself. Well, okay. So I think the thing is, like, especially if you're doing a quote unquote road show, technically within 20 minutes, you want to say everything you want to say.
Oh yeah.
Especially for people who are professional. I'm not very professionalized.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a blah, blah, blah podcast and we can go on, but like also at the same time, my audience might not tolerate that either.
Exactly.
Right. They want to kind of get to the point. They kind of want to get to the chemistry and all these things and vibe. But like, so like uploading up front, like, who am I? And that has to speak directly to what you're solving. It's not like a mother maybe in some way might be useful depending on which investor you talk to, right? But maybe you also might want to admit that maybe most won't even care you're a mother, but you've spent maybe I don't know, like maybe 10 seconds on that idea, but it could have been more like what adds to your pitch and narrative and story, what takes away, or what does nothing. But generally, if you have only 20 minutes to convince someone, you really just want to perfect who you are, related to the startup, how it will add value to the startup, and then also for your one-liner for your company could be much more concise, probably. Just like very high level. If you want, we could also like break down further and further specifically about what you said, because I will generally say that it took me a long time to really understand and I still don't actually understand. Right? So not fully. I get the general sense, but you want to really like hook up front, like so that people can continue to be engaged. These guys, like if you're talking to a professional who's either raised money, they have to actually make a return on their fund, right? And they look at hundreds of pitches a day.
Yeah,
they will give you 5 to 20 minutes, 15 minutes, right? But they're doing back-to-back meetings, usually, assuming they're deploying. A lot of my VC friends have not deployed much this year because it's been kind of quiet. Some have to deploy, so they just deploy and then talk about it. But it's like maybe not the greatest deals. But if you want to stand out, right, you really gotta like that attack point. So that'll be my general feedback at this point. Yeah. So like get to the point. Get to the point faster and also hook it. Right. Like I couldn't really fully still grasp. It's like you're helping patients talk to doctors. Is that it? See? I don't really fully get it. Like to solve what? Maybe pick a niche, right? Because you can't solve everything up front.
Right.
Like, yeah, sure, what is the size of the market on the healthcare right now? in Southeast Asia? What's the size?
Well, we're looking at the private sector, and we're looking at about 6.6 billion. This is a health tech.
But you're not going to capture 6.6 billion.
No, of course not.
Right.
Of course
Right.
not.
So
in
like,
Southeast Asia, it's about 3 billion.
So what you're solving, of what percentage solves that in your elevator pitch?
Patient engagement tech, yeah.
And granted, like some people might dismiss that kind of pitch. Some people might disagree with me
Right.
because they are trying to return a bigger size.
Right.
So then you have to really also curate your audience of who you talk to. Right. So angel investors might accept a smaller market size because their return will be much easier versus a 500 startups. They raise like $1 billion, but like they have to see you go to like make $1 billion company. So if it's not 6 billion, they might also disregard you. So it depends, right?
Right.
It's very variable, and you have to probably tweak that to different people, right? So upfront.
Right.
All right. So answer your question.
Oh,
I
yeah,
guess?
thank you.
Yeah,
Kind
thank
of,
you.
yeah.
Good feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the recording later and go over again. Okay, so let's go straight to the deck. Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. So first page, I'll pop it up on the screen for the audience as we go through it. The design kind of sticks out to me, right? So I see search as a design element, right? So I'm thinking your product from a standpoint involves some type of search, right?
No.
See, well then,
This
if that's the case,
decoration.
then yeah. So, but also even the design has purpose, even from a subconscious
agree.
level.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So,
They're the first person to point that out, but that's really good insight.
so the question is, does it add to your narrative, your pitch, in convincing someone of your goal? Does it take away, or does it do nothing?
Right.
Okay.
In this case, worst case, it does nothing.
Right.
Maybe some people don't care, but like subconsciously, it could help me maybe process faster by using actual images. Like design is a language, like your product UX, right?
Yes, I know.
So
But
like
this speech deck was designed not by me.
you guys are co-founders and partners. You take equal responsibility.
Yes.
And-
Yes,
That's true.
I'm
Yeah.
responsible. Okay.
Yeah, you're both responsible for this, right? So, and if you're a UI/UX guy, you look at it from a UI/UX perspective. You give the feedback to your founder, right? So, so that worst case does nothing. In the mid case, it does nothing. Worst case, it detracts my attention and makes more confusion of me trying to understand. And we're not even like past the first page yet,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So clearly, it's nothing about so maybe it's like about, like you said, a picture of a doctor and talking to a patient, solving problems might be more effective. Less words, but the image says everything. Right? And if you think about like YouTube thumbnail designs, actually
Right.
the less noisy and just a very clear image that conveys the point of the video to click through. Right? This is like your front door. Right? So you want to think about that very carefully.
Yeah.
MIEA Health, obviously, I think it's about health. Your logo, whatever, early stage could be improved. Clearly not that great, but whatever. Not as important, right? Does not actually detract. So then the most important part about information architecture, the power of AI to transform healthcare.
Yep.
One conversation at a time. So then it gets a little bit more clear,
Okay.
right? And I kind of like, I'm working down because I'm a
Right.
Western kind of reader. I'm American, so I will read from top down, left, right? So I'm
Right.
like kind of going down. The power of AI. So you're using AI. Obviously, everyone's doing AI. Now, AI is very important because then I think who on the team actually has real AI capabilities? Now, to what degree? Granted, these days, LLM technology has moved along where you could use like APIs and stuff, but even still, if you're saying AI, I still want to see some technical AI competence because
Okay.
that leads to proprietary technology and ability to be defensible,
Okay, makes sense.
right? So that's when you say the AI, I think, are you bullshit AI or are you real AI?
Okay.
Or are you somewhere in between? And if you're a rapper, to what degree of the rapper, what can be your competitive advantage? There's a lot of inherent implicit chain, links of how one may think about you
Right.
using the word AI. Right? So, but it's also expected. Everyone's talking about AI. Now, the question, I think, are you going to be a bullshit AI or not? Right? So the power of AI to transform healthcare. So great. So now I know you're in a healthcare space. At least that's clear. Right?
Okay.
Now, what are you doing in the healthcare space? One conversation at a time. Doesn't really say much. Not sure what you're doing. Like you're using AI to have conversations in healthcare. At this point, that's all I kind of got. Right?
Right.
So let's move on. So next part of your story, our purpose. So this is I read this far. I think I have stopped reading after this. So yeah, not because I wanted to be more in the moment and off the cuff.
Right.
So, but I did see this part earlier. A social enterprise that democratizes access to AI technology.
Right. So, no, are you gonna? I'm supposed to.
It's up to you. Do you want to? I mean, well, I'll just say up front,
Yeah.
It's confusing because if you're a startup for profit, but then you say social enterprise, that's confusing to me.
Okay. So it's a social purpose. So we've purposely made ourselves into a SaaS so that smaller clinics, your mid-size, your single-man clinic, will be able to access technology to use this to help them engage their patients.
But it's different than what you say, right? A social enterprise that democratizes access to AI. And you're saying access to AI technology,
Right.
not access to healthcare.
Yeah. It's basically for them to be able to use AI.
Then you should say that, right? Like a SaaS platform that allows patients using AI to get better healthcare. Is that wrong? Or is
Well,
that right?
that's.
I mean, of course,
well,
it's not perfect, but like I'm
right,
trying to
right.
understand, like,
No,
is that the gist?
agreed. We could use simpler language for people to understand. I suppose that would
Yeah.
work. But the goal really is to democratize, as in we don't want AI technology to just stay with the big guys, with big healthcare organizations. We want small, medium-sized clinics to be able to access these tools.
I see what you're saying now.
Yeah.
I don't even. But wait, you're implying that big companies hoard AI, but they don't. They probably don't even know how to use AI.
It's not about hoarding AI, but they're able to afford to use AI, because AI is not. It's
Are
not
they?
a simple.
Yeah.
It's not a simple tool. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much talk about AI, right? You can do this, you can do that, but how do you make AI work for you? Having been in the corporate sector a long time, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of money to actually apply AI into an organization. That whole transformative process,
Yeah.
the whole process of being able to take the AI, get my IT team, get someone who understands how to apply this and implement it,
Okay.
and change management.
Yes, correct.
So that whole exercise takes millions of dollars. So even if you're a rapper, right, you take an open AI license and then you try and it's unaffordable for most small, medium-sized, clinics who are excited about the idea of AI. Like, hey, I can actually do all this stuff to monitor, to have conversations, to build better relationships with my. But how do I do it? What's the first step I need to take? And that is confusing because they don't have that expertise, and then they don't have that money to really burn, to try, to test, to innovate.
Okay, you're talking about.
We're talking from the company's perspective, the
clinics
perspective.
perspective.
So we're a B2B2C. So we're not working with consumers to clinic. We're working from clinics to help manage their patients. So that whole exercise, having the experience in the corporate sector, I felt that the small and medium size, there's a gap because these guys don't have access, don't have technicalities, they don't have the expertise to manage. So that's where we come in to help at a low price point for them to start a subscription.
Yeah.
And then we want to make it so easily adaptable that you can just plug and play.
Yeah.
You take it, you put it in your organization, and it runs.
Okay.
I don't need to have a tech team. I don't need to have IT or AI experts. And it's so seamless that it takes away all my headache. I don't have to understand it. I just need it to work.
Okay.
As a small enterprise, I'm a single man owner. I just want to be able to take this technology and it will help me.
Okay. So question for Dimitry, does that, what she said, does that say this?
From my perspective, we're doing the tool which in future will be able to replace the receptionist of the small clinic and remove all the routine from the clinic staff, from daily routine. They're doing a lot of things like scheduling appointments, canceling appointments, confirming appointments.
Yeah.
This is so simple work. It should be replaced with AI.
Sounds something different than what you're saying.
Is it?
I don't know.
Well, we aligned on that vision. I mean, we are a virtual assistant. So that's what AI is. The AI is just a term, but what it does, that's the virtual assistant component.
Okay, I feel like that was more clear. Yours was a lot longer-winded way of saying it. You're kind of working like top-down. He's kind of just saying to the point, I think. Right. So I think the main point is our purpose is that's not whatever you guys combined say maybe, whether it's aligned or not. There's a big miscommunication from what you're telling me in a concise way, which is actually very long already, right? To what says on this page here, right? So that was only like the first line.
Yeah.
It's already confusing me, right? So then we kind of go down. Yeah. Is the point to democratize or is the point to displace? Like you make your clinic more efficient. These are very two different ideas.
It's democratize. What we mean is that we make it affordable for everyone to use.
Again, it's very specific language, clinics to use or like healthcare providers to use.
Yes.
But you have to be very specific though. You can't just say, like everyone. So it's going to keep confusing me.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So and I think that's like the general idea. It's like very not clear or specific, maybe. Right. So, yeah, you seem stuck on this. Like, maybe I kind of get it, right? Because you have a vision and you're like, this is what the vision kind of does, but that's not what it should say in the pitch. You know what I mean? Like, maybe ultimately the output of the vision is equity for healthcare providers.
Right.
But like, I don't think that's the purpose, is it? Isn't the purpose to like either like make your clinic more efficient because that's what's going to sell,
more efficient and
better access to quality
and
faster,
receive more revenues.
Yeah. Okay.
Reducing no-shows and automating the schedule,
So why don't you say
appointment scheduling?
Why don't I say MIEA Health? Like you have paying providers already, about a year maybe, or what's your longest serving paying customer?
About 10 months.
10 months. There you go. Right. So almost a year. Within 1 year, MIEA Health has saved X amount of cost and increased X amount of revenue. That's like way more powerful. I already understand what you're trying to do, right? So, and you don't need to say the thing about democratizing. It actually doesn't matter in this kind of sense. Maybe if you're talking about long-term vision building and you're making a sale and these kind of things, yeah, sure, right? And it's more of a flavor at that point. But like I'm trying to understand the crux of what you do.
Right.
And from you're saying our purpose, your purpose is to probably make more money for clinics by using AI-powered technology. Sounds simpler and straight to the point. I already get it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we make it simple for healthcare staff to, so now kind of, it's like, we make it simple for healthcare staff to use, easy for, this was also, I think wording-wise was confusing, easy for patients to adopt and affordable so all providers of care can enhance efficiency and improve outcomes for patients. It's more like we're a SaaS-based platform that uses AI to improve outcomes for patients and revenues for clinics.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think here the wording was a little bit confusing already. Okay, so this is good. In terms of structure-wise, it's nice though, right? It's like introduce this kind of one-liner, what we are, this is our purpose, and now this is the problem. In general, from a structure standpoint, it's good. Content-wise, maybe so far could be improved, right? So the problem, frustrated patients. 75% of patients report difficulty scheduling appointments. 60% of patients feel frustrated with wait times and communication. Good. This is very clear. Right? So the one thing I always tell people when they're pitching is you got to show, not tell. Right? Usually people would say the problem is patients hate scheduling, but without showing the real data. Right. We as an investor, we need to know there's a real problem backed by real statistics or evidence of you actually having traction. The best thing that probably sells is more like out of the 100 clinics we talk to on a regular basis, we went and sat in all their clinics every single day and we surveyed 1,000 patients. Out of 1,000 patients, 75% said they hate scheduling, right? Now then it becomes more of a framing around how big is this problem, how meaningful is this problem, and what is it worth, which is more important for an investor. If I put in money, what's my return?
Right.
So, but already not bad. At least I understand from a problem perspective what you might be trying to solve. So and if I look at the problem, looks like you're probably going to have a tool or a platform or an app that will help make it easier to schedule appointments, which in theory should reduce wait times and communication. And the implication of that would be less resources needed on the clinic side and more inbound for the clinic and happier customer and a stickier customer. Right. So that's like the implication. So this is like not bad. But it's already this from the big picture to the small picture seems disconnected of what you were telling me. Right. So let's move on. All right. Second problem slide. I think you probably could fit this all in one slide, probably. Right. But you have a 14-page deck. It's not that bad already. So, but I mean that's maybe stylistic, up to you, or like what's the most important problem.
Right.
Right. Because, for example, if I do see this as a problem, I don't think it's a big problem. I don't know the industry that well. You are the domain expert. I know it from a customer perspective. I would agree it's kind of annoying, but at the same time, as long as I get my appointment and my life moves on, I don't think about that problem. I don't think I'm going to go to a specific clinic because it's just exponentially faster, right? That's not my kind of behavior or decision-making process as a customer to a clinic. It's more like who's around me? Is he a trusted expert? That kind of thing. The in-between is more like whatever. So then, so maybe about problem that I'm not sure how big of a problem it is and it's worth solving. Frustrated staff. 150 billion is lost annually due to no-shows and last-minute cancellation. That's an interesting statistic. MGMA, what's that? Source.
American Medical, can't remember, sorry, it's an acronym. It's on the notes. But yes, this one is from an American study done on staff satisfaction.
Okay, not bad. It still shows, but if you're
Is it a worldwide statistic or American?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
It's a good question. As an investor, I'd be like, okay, is this for like Singapore? Is this for Southeast Asia?
It was hard to find the numbers, but the best research we got was from the American side.
Yeah, so somehow you might need to be qualified either in a point here or a speaking point. So just say that. Like out of this 150 billion, this is our best case estimate of Singapore, where we're starting. Right, more of a talking point, but in general, not too bad. At least I understand it's a big enough problem, maybe.
Right.
Is it convincing? I don't know. 150 billion no shows, not booked revenue. But like, it's not like it's, what does the study say exactly? Because it's more like if I don't get a booking, I'm just going to go some other time with someone else. Is it really lost in the system?
So it's a lost revenue for the organization, for the clinic, for the company.
Okay, but it's not lost in the industry sense. The spending is still there.
Yeah, that's right. It's somewhere else.
Okay, so then it's very clear you're very clinic focused. It's almost like if you're a marketplace, your supply side would be your clinic providers, hospitals, whatever.
Right.
Okay. Am I convinced it's a big enough problem? Yeah, that's a question. That's what I'm currently thinking. Right, so this is kind of your story has led me to that. Okay, so now let's.
Is it so important point to discuss during the pitch?
What point?
That one about 150 billions loss of no shows.
What do you think?
I think for our current stage, more important what we exactly do and what we exactly done at that time.
Are you saying like from a traction standpoint or a product standpoint? What do you mean?
I'm saying about tractions and about our personalities. We are really early stage startup.
So I think the answer is yes and no. Unfortunately, I think in early stage it's going to be always like this. So it depends on your goals and depends who you're talking to.
Okay.
Now, if it's an early stage angel investor who's worked in healthcare, but he's like a really rich executive, has millions of dollars, then he wants to write a check for 100K. Maybe he might not care as much. Maybe he cares more about traction.
Yes.
Now, again, if you're talking to someone more professionalized, like if you're trying to raise from like a Y Combinator or 500 startups, they actually will care about the bigger number more. I've had this problem with one of my investment companies where they focus on too small of a niche. So on the first check size, 500 said no because it's just they don't see the vision growing beyond that, and there's no point for them to invest in that. So it's going to depend on your goal. If your goal is to get a 500 versus an angel investor, the answer depends.
Yes.
Yeah. You think about it. And then it's also more like what aligns with your actual vision and narrative from a fundamental perspective. When you're pitching, you don't want to diverge too much away from your truth just to get the check.
Yeah.
I mean, in early stage, you can argue it doesn't matter because you pivot a million times and all those kind of things. But in an ideal world, what you pitch is kind of true. So that at least when things do diverge, your investor base is aligned with the founding team and kind of what you said. So the change can be explained better. It's not more like it's like you say if you raise on this idea, but then you go build like
something else
completely. Which I mean, again, it can
happen.
It can happen
because as you pivot.
Yeah. But it's more like how would you manage that narrative and feelings of someone if you did that to them? You know what I mean? It's like say if you just invested all in crypto, right? It's like well, that's not what I gave you the money for, right? So I mean, it depends. It depends. I kind of veered off a little bit, but you get the idea, right?
No,
at the current moment, we have in mind the idea that our first round will be raised with angel investors who are who have money already, exactly, and who has an experience in the healthcare perfectly. If it's a doctor, who can invest.
Okay.
Yeah, someone who's actually in the industry or believes in the vision of what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah. So say if that's your goal, your framework, you have constraints, then you can already ask. Like you could even test it. So go in like half of your pitches for the next. I mean, of course, you don't want to go to like the most well-off doctors that are famous that who really give out money easily. You want to maybe test it out on like people you're like are kind of on the fence, like you're not too sure if they're worth it or not. So you could test the pitching. You'd be like, you put 150 billion some, put 150 billion others, see what they say. Then you kind of go back and revise. Based off what I know their profile, do my homework before on this investor.
Right.
Would this statistic increase the probability? Will it add? Will it do nothing? Or will it take away?
Yeah.
Right. So then you can think about it from that perspective. Yeah.
So every pitch deck will have to be adjusted.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. It has to be. It's a very dynamic process. You have
Right.
you can so the people who don't do that typically have to go through a few hundreds of pitches before they get their first check.
Yep.
And then it's only after the few hundred times they start realizing they have to kind of do that kind of stuff. Right. So but like once you've had the core foundation, people are usually in buckets and you don't have to change it that much. You will eventually have the right amount of pitches, variations, specific, like this is for angel, this is for early stage, this is for a big VC, right?
Right.
And then you kind of know like, okay, like look at his background. Oh, he's worked in healthcare before. This statistic will work better for him. You know what I mean? You kind of get a feel for it over time the more you kind of do it. So, okay. So 30% of clinics clinics spend 30% of their time on administrative tasks taking away from patient care. Yeah, it's really annoying. This one I can feel as a customer.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know if it's a big enough problem though. It's more like when I rock up to a clinic or a dentist or whatever. It's more like I just kind of, or even the airport. I just had my information on hand. Just like you tap something and it's done, right?
Exactly.
But I mean, I think convincing the investor that's a big enough problem would be. Like, is it worth solving, or are you like solving a nothing? And that's why it's been solved with pen and paper for so long.
Yeah,
I do think there is a thesis in general for digitizing these like kind of industries. Asia's still very much on paper pencil.
very much so.
We actually don't really need AI. AI just kind of maybe speeds up certain things,
Right.
Kind of leapfrogs certain things, but like the general idea is like digitization is still far behind, right? So, and maybe that's an interesting narrative you might want to consider. Maybe that's more of the narrative. Like we're more of a practical business. We're a real business. It's just adding a digital layer powered by AI, but maybe it's not about the AI because if you don't have the technical background, you're not doing deep tech.
No.
That's a weird conversation.
Right.
If you make it more about like a kind of Web 2, but it's just kind of using existing layers and we don't need anything fancy about the deep tech, then there's a more compelling narrative that you're able to probably solve the problem.
Right.
Right. Okay, so what is this next? So we got problem. This is product?
Yep.
Okay, I should probably put product somewhere, right, on top.
Okay.
Yeah. But I kind of get it. AI virtual assistant on WhatsApp, simple to use, easy to implement, affordable solution. Yeah, the thing that kind of stood out to me, like I think my sister-in-law was actually looking at the deck. She was just here earlier. She's like, but I don't understand. Like, it's just a WhatsApp. I think you're going to get that question a lot, right? It's like,
you mean exactly this picture?
Well, just in general, if your product is just using like, you're using WhatsApp as a channel. I agree with the original premise that it, what you say, democratizes is access for everyone.
Yep.
But you also have your platform risk, but also then like what is like what will differentiate? Like what, there's no moat either. Like why, like what's the magic sauce, I guess, if you're just like a WhatsApp layer?
WhatsApp layer because most people actually use WhatsApp. So it's making it so easy to implement that you don't have to download. What we want is something that's so simple, anyone can use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if there are a lot of different companies with a lot of different apps, you're not able to communicate with them because the app isn't even open. So if you're a clinic and you want to send a message to your patient, we've changed the appointment. Could you come today? Could you come at this time?
Yeah.
But your app isn't open. So they can't. So if it's on WhatsApp, people usually have that already open because they consistently use it. It will come as a notification from someone and you will see it.
Yeah. So I understand that thesis. It's an interesting thesis.
Right.
Because the idea is that it's almost like open source. Like it's like everyone. It's just there's no friction.
Yep.
But the question is, how do you capture the value for your company then? Like how like why? That means anyone can probably just build another layer on WhatsApp too and copy it, right?
Yeah, that's true at this point.
Yeah.
But the idea is to be able to build our own model eventually with a focus on healthcare conversations.
Model?
Yeah, we're hoping to actually have our own AI that focuses extensively on healthcare conversations.
Are you talking about like a specific LLM that you've trained yourself? Like,
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
LLM, open source LLM model that we will train
With
and
proprietary
adapt.
data. Has to be. Otherwise, what's your advantage in this, right?
Yes.
But then is that very convincing if you're not technical founders by nature? Or how do you get this proprietary database? How do you make it defensible?
We believe that we will have enough usage to get from this usage all the data, mock up this data, and to train the models on this data.
Okay, so that's probably part of the thesis then, right? So it's like go wide.
So I have only a helicopter view on this problem because we have much more important problems right now. The usage itself. I would say building our own AI. Now we're using OpenAI, OpenAI API.
Which one? GPT-4,
GPT-4.
3.5?
GPT-4.
4. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it very expensive? Right? Or is it better?
Our volume's not so expensive.
So it's not so cost prohibitive yet.
Yes, but
Okay. But once usage explodes.
We have a layer of costing. So when we had a basic layer of subscription and then usage, so the pricing model for usage, we actually up it a little bit from what WhatsApp. So there is some coverage on that costing. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I can explain what we would like to do in the future, but it's my dream. This is not a plan.
Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there.
You know, every single AI model, it's just a simple function.
Yeah. Actually, what has been the feedback from other investors about your implementation from a product solution standpoint? Understand the problem, right? So like I can see now from the previous slide, it's like trying to solve all these frustrations. It's kind of interesting though. Along the value chain of healthcare getting provided, you've chose this as a problem, but there's no other bigger problem. Or is there a reason why you kind of chose this problem?
We chose this problem because it's an easy entry point.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are already customers who were remember eventually the first problem we had was monitoring, right? And that had a direct patient benefit. But we pivoted away from that because there was an immediate need from clinics to help solve this problem, which was making appointments, rescheduling.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
just to help clarify for the audience, you said monitoring was the first one. How were you monitoring as your first initial idea?
the hypertension, monitoring patients.
How does
on
that work?
behalf, what it does is we send conversations every day to patients. Hello, good morning, how are you? Let's take your blood pressure, and then we take that information and then we put it into a database, and the doctors on their component will get to see the progression of their patients. Are they doing well?
Okay.
If patients' BP shoots up above, doctor gets notified, like, hey, your BP. Yeah. So that was monitoring on doctor's behalf for the patients.
And then it was like a lot of, like you said, the signal noise ratio was not
right.
good.
Right. So that,
and I like that idea because there is no third-party application in this pipeline. The customers use WhatsApp, the doctors use WhatsApp. All things happen.
Everything's on WhatsApp.
Yes.
There's no point to kind of rebuild the wheel.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how it does.
This is
that's
brilliant,
how it's done in Asia. I mean, everybody communicates on WhatsApp.
Can you confirm that with like 100% confidence, 90% confidence? Because that's Singapore probably.
WhatsApp usage is very, very common in Indonesia as well.
But specifically for what you're saying?
For monitoring?
No, just doctor talking to patients.
I would say, in my experience, yes.
Like like say you go to any country, Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines, you're very confident doctors talk to patients primarily for healthcare.
It doesn't
not
matter.
About healthcare.
Okay, WhatsApp is just one of the front ends. You can integrate with Telegram, I don't know, WeChat, any popular platform.
But also assumes that the way healthcare is dispensed is through these chat apps. That's the thesis too, though.
Yes.
Because if it's all offline, then that's a very different kind of product you'll be building in different countries.
For WhatsApp, it's more on as what we're doing, appointment making. They're not doing clinical diagnosis on WhatsApp. They're doing casual conversations like, my BP is high, what do I do about it? Or, hey, I need to come into the clinic now. Are you available? Can I have an appointment? Or I need to cancel my appointment. Can I make it next week?
Okay.
Or what is this? Okay. So it's a lot of non-clinical, which is what our solution is on. We avoided clinical because
you started there.
Right. Yeah. So we actually go into non-clinical aspect of engagement with the patient.
Understand. Okay. And then what was the general feedback from other investors about this?
There is interest. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here.
No, but what are they saying specifically?
Specifically,
they think it's a great idea. They don't see problems, or
they like the idea, but they say the sales cycle is too long.
This is a B2C product more.
Sales cycle. What does that mean?
It means it takes too long to onboard one customer, one clinic for that aspect.
And how's that defined?
I'm sorry. What do you mean? How?
Yeah, like what makes them say the sales cycle is too long? Like how do you qualify that?
because we only have a few customers. We have about
No,
10
no, no. I think, guys, you speak about different things.
different things.
Yeah,
Okay.
Alex asked you about the first version of your idea.
Oh wait, the
The-
first version.
Yeah, about the traction, hypertension traction.
Oh, I thought he was asking about currently.
No, current. Yeah.
Ah, current. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, because currently you're talking to investors and you're showing
Right.
this product slide.
Yes.
This is
Yeah.
how the product works.
Yeah.
And the main thing they're stuck on is
Yep.
the sales cycle. So I don't understand what that means.
Oh, okay. Because we've done the full sales stack, so we have current customers. So they're concerned. They're sold on the idea. They like the idea, but they feel that we don't have enough customers, and it takes too long because we've been in the market about 10 months, and they feel with 10 customers signed up, it's too slow. It needs to speed up. We need to have.
Oh, just they're talking about general traction, like signing
Right.
up more
Yes.
clinics
Right.
to use
Correct.
this WhatsApp
Yeah.
solution to talk to their customers.
Yes.
Okay, because I thought you're talking about like I'm a new customer coming to this clinic. I'm going through this app, and then I don't convert to a paying customer. That's not what you're talking about.
No. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
it's just we have to expand that whole sales component.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting feedback. Because to me, it sounds like you guys are still in product market fit phase,
Right.
which means you have maybe a different expectation of customers where they want more traction. Right. So again, you have to curate your investors
You're
who you
right.
talk to.
You're
Yes.
right.
Right, so
We
you
are,
have to be careful.
we are
We're
still
still-
looking our
right.
product
Yeah.
market fit.
So
That's right.
So what's important is to like explain to those investors we are at this stage.
Right.
We're going to keep you updated every quarter.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And as you can see the traction growing, then that's when you can go back and repitch them.
Yes.
Yeah.
As you get onto the sales curve.
Yep.
Because right now they're maybe have a different expectation. Whereas someone like me, I don't mind investing something much earlier. We'll take
Right.
on more risk. It's more like, do I like the founders? Like, do I
Yeah.
have there's a clarity around the idea?
Yeah.
Are you guys the right people for this problem? This kind of thing, right? So
That's true.
Okay,
We are
understand.
still at the product market fit. Yep.
Okay. So okay, here we go. So now we get to I feel like you could condense maybe like the problem slide and the product slide just to make it faster even, right? So this is the product. This is like more product what it does, right?
That's right.
Handles tasks as appointment scheduling, reminders, feedback collection, integrates existing systems for seamless automation. What is the existing systems like?
EMR, they're electronic medical records. So, for example, if I'm making an appointment, you want it integrated with your EMR system,
Yeah.
so that the doctor doesn't have to do anything. He opens up his system. He knows when the patient is coming. Any information that needs updated will be pushed automatically. So there are different EMRs in the market. In Singapore, it's mainly Plato, SGI Med.
In terms of market share, what's the percentage?
I would say Plato is about 80%.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
good for you then.
Right.
That's really
So-
good.
so-
But it won't be the same across Southeast Asia.
No,
right?
it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's precisely it. Because
Okay.
like you mentioned, digitization isn't hot in Southeast
It's
Asia.
not paper.
So
paper.
yes, so
All
many
paper.
many of the clinics don't even have a digital solution.
Correct.
And they would be a lot more efficient if
Yeah.
they had one. So we are actually working on understanding the market. So
see.
we're still doing product market fit, but this roadshow really is to not just investors, but to meet clinics, to meet partners, to find out, to get a feel of how clinics work.
Okay,
In,
but then
in
why
Malaysia.
not just keep focusing on Singapore? Why are you going out of market already?
This is an exploratory
Yes.
trip. But we are focused
We
in
understand.
was there
we
like-
understand that our objective of next year is Singapore small clinics.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
but then this what? Because people were interested, they heard about it, or like
Yeah,
why? Like why?
we had some interest. I mean,
Okay, I
there was
see.
some interest
Okay,
who came
okay,
in and we're like,
understandable.
okay, since we're coming,
Yeah,
let's just meet more people and get
That's
to
not
know
bad. Yeah,
get to know the place and the people. Yeah.
Not the like depending on how focused or where your mission critical is. It's not
Right.
always bad at product market fit to go wide, because then
Right.
you can look at like you could test your ideas, your
Right.
hypothesis,
Exactly.
and then you can try to really like understand different
Yeah.
contexts.
Because
And-
we're still
yeah.
doing our product market fit.
Okay,
So I think
understand.
since we're exploring, it's good to just get out there, meet people, try and understand.
Yeah. Do you have any information on Malaysia, how it works for these, what do you call it, EMRs?
EMR.
EMRs.
Yeah,
okay.
EMR.
Yeah,
So-
electronic record, yeah.
We've had this different feedback from people that
Yeah.
we've met so far.
Yeah.
Some
we,
people
We
tell
just
us-
talked to two guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Different information.
Okay. So some say it's like dominated by something. Others say it's all
Yeah,
paper.
yeah. Some say, forget it, no point. Some say, oh yeah, it's a great idea. You should.
Yeah. If you guys have free time, like in this Bangsa area or even downtown KL, there's like thousands of clinics. You
Right,
can just literally walk door to door
Right.
Yes.
and just try and talk to the people.
Door
at the
to
front desk.
door. exercise.
Yeah, it's not a bad
we
thing.
already scheduled door-to-door exercise.
You really like at this stage. You really like the YC Bible. Like if you want to follow that, like you want to do things that don't scale early on because you're looking for the fanatics and you're looking for like you're mining for the gems of value that you want to build around.
Exactly.
And going door to door, talking directly to your potential customers, exactly what you want to do.
Yes.
So we've had a couple of meetings. We had a great session last night. Disruptive doctors, and then Essentials. So clinic owners.
Essentials, yeah.
Yeah. So
one in Bonksarville.
Right.
And BSC, shopping center.
Yeah, Anthony. So we had great discussions with them. We actually scheduled a few more just to talk to clinic owners, operators, doctors.
Very good.
So anyone and everyone. So that's why that's meeting back to back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And you had time for a podcast. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. No. We
this
really
is
wanted
our first podcast.
It's our first podcast, and we didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, but you gave us such a useful feedback on our pitch deck.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No worries. We're not even through it, guys.
Yeah, I know.
We're almost there.
I know.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we should speed it up so we have time to talk about product. Okay.
Right.
Providing real time. So yeah, this maybe condense this. Providing so this you could see the problem. We're already an hour in, but like we've only gotten a few pages in.
Right.
So you can see there's a problem here.
Yeah, but this is really good insight because you're going page by page, right?
Yeah,
we seldom get we've never gotten, It's either they schedule, hey, come in, let's chat, or like, no, sorry, we're not interested.
Well, that's the worst thing is like people who smile at you and just say, yeah, sure, but they actually won't. It's like they probably mean no and wasted my time.
Exactly.
So,
we can recognize such people.
Yeah. People can tell. Yeah.
Oh, he's very good at it.
But for me, it's also win-win. I can make content, we can learn, we can become friends, or this kind of thing. So,
and that's useful to lots of people.
Yeah, exactly. As more people can learn from it, hopefully it raises the quality in the region so people can learn better. Okay, let's continue. Providing real-time response. Yeah, so this is more. Yeah, I think like you again coming from like if you're following the structure of your narrative, your pitch, right? You're coming from like generally one-liner, problem, solution. Well, actually, not solution. You're going problem, product. Not necessarily wrong. It's almost the same thing. Product, solution is the same, right? Might want to condense what's the most value thing you're focused on, and just really focus on that because there's a lot of things here.
Yes.
Like, does it? Sure, your product solution does all of that because it's a general chat.
Right.
But like, what are you really honing on? And that I will be convinced I should give you money to keep solving this, and it's big enough. If it is too small, like, what if your market ends up being like 50 clinics? Right. I just really don't want to give you a check.
Yep.
Right. I'm never going to see the money ever again. Right. Or unless your pitch is this, we are a cash cow recurring dividend company, and that's what we want. Different. Remember goals and matching. Right. So, product can be better tailored for that. Market size and good. Like so far structurally though, it's good. Right. Like it's making sense. Like, and then you might want to tweak the sequence depending on who you talk to. Some might want to see market earlier. Some want to see problem solution first. Right. It really depends. But okay, let's look at the size. Size of market, patients engagement tech. Why do you say patient engagement tech? Is that the market?
Oh, that's the category.
Okay. Is that a healthcare term? Healthcare term?
Right. It's a health tech area, but we're really focused on patient engagement because health tech is really broad.
Yeah.
We're not health tech in the clinical sense. We're not
patient engagement tech.
So it's patient engagement. So it's about appointment making, feedback taking, things that are non-clinical in nature.
I see. Yeah. And the investors you talk to, are they all have a healthcare background or knowledge, or are they invested?
It's varied. Okay. We've got different investors, like you mentioned, different scales, different intent, different size. Yeah. So we've spoken. We've actually generally just used this deck at the moment.
Okay.
So we get varied feedback, like different feedback.
So, because as you can see, we're already an hour in. For an angel who will invest widely in things, it takes me longer to do due diligence.
Right.
But say if you're talking to someone who has a background like you, they might get it faster. So then you might want to tailor the language to like their knowledge of the industry.
Right.
Because the more knowledge specific things you talk about, then it just takes me longer to process and understand.
Right.
And so if you could just use simpler terms or just make it so the communication is faster, because I'm just trying to understand what is the patient engagement tech market versus regular healthcare versus whatever. But let's look at it. So that'd be the first question in my mind. So you're talk with the TAM first, which is the biggest, right? Mm-hmm. The patient engagement market is growing rapidly, expected to reach $66.4 billion by 2032, and you have a source. Good. And you're specifically saying things that's quite big for so what? There's like software providers in the world that are
Yeah.
producing $66 billion of value,
Just for patient engagement.
and this source is what around the world.
Yes, this is global. And then after that, I've kind of just extrapolated and taken it narrower to Asia.
Why did you exclude Japan for the SAM, the SAM?
Because that's not the market that we're in.
But so you're including China is no problem, and
Yeah. I think this one was because it's taken in terms of the percentage.
okay, 10%. Asia excluding Japan.
I
is
heard that
10%.
WhatsApp is not so popular in China.
or Japan, I think.
Yeah, that's Line.
Right.
No, even in Thailand, it will be Line.
Correct.
Right.
But
so.
the patient engagement tag, it covers apps, and it's not just on WhatsApp
Yeah,
specifically.
I as a founder, I struggled a lot with this market sizing exercise because the data is
Right.
not clear. You spend too much time doing it, and then like you could you might need to clean this up, like to be more
Yes,
specific.
yes.
Yeah.
What WhatsApp
Agree.
plus what market?
Right.
Because
Right.
like, if you want to convince me off the bat, I'm start calling bullshit poking holes. Like this
Right.
this doesn't say anything
No, it
because this is not a real representative of your actual
Right.
market. And then my ROI extrapolation, if I'm a math guy already, I'm not a math guy by the way, but like other people are math guys, they're gonna be like, this is just, you don't know what you're talking about. You didn't do the homework.
Right.
You're not a credible founder.
Right.
Or you got to know your market and your numbers like that. Even though I understand it's extremely
it's hard.
It's
Yeah,
so,
because
it's so
there's
hard.
so many
It's so
different
hard.
variations
Yeah.
of research out there.
Which means like I guess if you're a very good salesman, like if you study the Airbnb deck, they kind of do this type of structure for market sizing, and they just like as a percentage of the market, if we capture this as that, and a lot of people copy that, but without really understanding what that could really mean, and that works in a different time period.
Right.
That time period, money was much easier to raise, I guess, or it's just different, right? So now it's much harder to raise. You might have to be more convincing. So maybe you want to be a little bit more precise with your thinking or how to tweak this so that this is more of a one that's it's more realistic, and number
Right.
two, it's like a big enough market,
Right.
right? And then you're saying for your smallest amount, your SOM, private healthcare facilities are covered 50%, and you're saying that's 3.3 billion. That's global again.
Correct.
So and already say if I'm to extrapolate from this, I'm already thinking Asia's too small. So say if you go to a 500 startups, they're not going to invest. So like you might not want to waste your time even on that,
Yeah.
right? Because like 3.3 billion global, but then like what's Southeast Asia? A few hundred million? And of a few hundred million, what can you realistically capture? And I probably can count on like a spreadsheet, like maybe there's 1,000 clinics across Southeast Asia and you're done. And that's your business, right? So that's kind of like how I'd be thinking about it. I don't know what it is. I'm just saying, for example, right? Did I get this right? Anything you want to say about this? No?
No, I think you got it right. So
Okay.
we've kind of just taken it down all the way to what we think is the
Yeah.
market
Yeah.
based
Okay.
on our best guess of
Yeah.
the research that's out there.
So say for just to take a random guess, gut check, what do you think Southeast Asia is for your market then, out of this 3.3 billion global?
Even if it's half that,
You can't, that's such a terrible thing to say, right? It's like the worst thing you could say. It's like the least convincing. It's like, yeah, I know, maybe, yeah, we'll get half, right? No. If you're lucky, it's like even 1%, right?
no,
Like,
even
so.
if it's 1%.
Yeah, but then, so that's what you have to know that number though, because then
Right.
that targets what kind of investors you want to talk to,
Right.
right? You got to be aligned there. So it does matter. I understand it's a little bit of a nonsense exercise because it's hard,
Right.
but you have to kind of be convincing and know, right? Structure, yeah, again, your structure is good. Competitive analysis, right? So if I look at the big market, then I would think about your competitors. Not bad, yeah. Okay. What do we have for competitors? Wow, you guys have a lot of people in your corner, huh?
Which corner?
Specialized in healthcare that's using AI.
Yep.
That's what you put yourself in,
Yep.
right? You got Emmy Health, Luma Health,
Right.
Converso, Key
Right.
Reply. Well, there's a lot of people in here, huh? They're all doing the same thing?
Yeah.
Bot
for
MD,
patient tech.
Zendesk. Okay. Are clinics using Zendesk to converse with
Yes,
patients?
some of them do. So there's healthcare specialization, and then there's generic, and then there's more geared towards automation or AI. So we've kind of placed ourselves with AI and healthcare because our focus is to build that relationship, and the AI component actually is quite common.
Okay, but this is not very convincing though, right? There's no other healthcare provider because you put the gray one is Southeast Asia and the black one's US. You're telling me there's no other healthcare
Specific AI.
within, what did you call it?
Health tech.
Engagement, health. Oh, it's on market sizing, right? Yeah.
Right.
What you called it? Patient engagement. So there's no one in patient engagement tech
Right.
that's using AI. Come on, really?
No, they do have AI, but this how much of AI is in
Oh,
there.
I see.
It's a gradient.
But even still, then you should probably put them on here, right? Because I see no one else in. No, but see, black is okay.
Right. So there is AI, but how much focus there is?
Okay.
Yeah.
Available. Yeah, because you only have one person that's available in SCA and SG that's using AI on a gradient that's focusing on your solution, right?
Right.
Did I understand that?
Towards AI.
Did I understand that correctly or no?
Well, it's a gradient, so there's automation and AI.
Right.
So BotMD does have AI, but the focus really is on automation.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So that's a grade. All of them will say they have AI.
Well, because technically, by right, if we're looking at this region only, you're telling me Key Reply is the only one who's really kind of a direct competitor.
Really, yeah.
Is that really? Is that true? There's only one?
Well, if you're geared to it, if your needs are about AI and about having good conversations, quality conversations, I would think so.
Okay. You got to be careful with this. I don't know. I didn't do due diligence.
Yeah.
I don't know the space.
Right.
But that's what you're telling me. But usually when people say there's like no competitors, it's very not believable.
No, I think a lot of the competitors are in the US because the previous slide where we talk about market sizing, a lot of them are there and they're good ones. You know, they're not bad. They're actually very, very good
I'm sure
solutions.
in the US.
Yeah,
they have all the
exactly.
talent, so.
Because they're so competitive, right?
And there's a lot of problems in healthcare over there. So
yeah. But their health tech is really good. But the problem is they're not in Asia and they're not within Southeast Asia.
Okay.
Specifically.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Right.
I don't know the space.
Yeah.
I just say I would imagine other investors would be like, really? There's no other competitors, right?
Well, there are, but not within Asia or South. If you want to
you're saying with caveat, but I'm still saying even with caveat, I'm really?
Okay.
Right? Which because maybe it's either like you haven't come across them or
probably I haven't come across them.
But again, being a founder and raising, you have to know all of them.
I've done the research. I haven't seen any.
Okay.
But I mean, I could be wrong because we're not 100%, right? Someone could have come in yesterday.
Say like you do your best effort and you still come with the same result. You have to have a very good talking point around it or a way to say it from a sales perspective.
Right.
Why it's this way. Because if that's the case, it either says two things. There's no problem worth solving.
Right.
That's why no one's doing it.
Right.
Or you're like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
So it's either one of these categories you're falling in.
I think it's expensive.
Or you know, it's one of these rare things where you are right and I should put all my money now, right? Right. So which one of these is? Typically, if you follow statistics of startups failing, you're in the category where you're probably not solving anything or like you don't know what you're talking about, right? So, yeah. So it's more like I'm not saying you're wrong. Just better know how to maybe talk about it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Why choose me? What's the point of this slide? Your competitive advantage? Is that it? That's what it's saying? Competitive advantage? Okay. Okay, so we talked about elevator pitch. You told me problem. You show me product. You show me market. And then you're like, this is why we're special. Okay, kind of makes sense. Yeah. Structurally, again, structure not bad. Why choose MIEA? AI learns and adapts, ensuring a unique, personalized experience. There's a lot of words here. I should hopefully look at it and kind of understand maybe faster. We know Asia. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's more like it's like one line, or like maybe like a few words. Not many words, one like a few words, right? More like it's more like point, and then that's your competitive advantage. Like we know Asia, it's probably good enough, right?
Okay.
Like, I don't know if that's the right content, but but you get the point, right?
No, I get the point. I get the point.
Yeah. Content wise, we could always debate whatever, right? Unique, yes, it's a lot. Ensuring unique and personalized experience for every patient. We're working on our own proprietary neural network. Okay. See, when you say this, you're talking about deep tech already, but then you're telling me you're not a technical founder. So a big question is in my mind, how are you going to bridge that gap? And is it in a convincing way? And if you're using deep tech and you don't, there's very few people who really can convincingly use, train their own networks.
No, exactly.
So that's a very...
That's future as Dima would like to say.
Yeah, but we're talking about current now. So if it's a question, is it important to say that now or does it take away?
That's maybe if you could give us an advice on that, because we've got differing views. Some of them say, you should tell them what the future is, right? Paint the picture of what you will be. But then we have the what we are now, which there is a stretch. At present we're so new, we're so raw.
Yeah.
But then in the future we have these visions. Yeah. So I don't want to upsell or do that whole fake it till you make it.
What does your gut tell you?
I would rather be real.
You?
Actually.
I don't know.
Well, did you say you have Adam Newman level scales
No.
sales ability? Can you warp reality around you?
We'll be in a TV movie.
Yeah, it's like how convincing are you?
Right. So that's what we tried to do. You see, we tried to say this is who we are, and in the future we are working on it, and that's where we would like to be.
So it goes back to what I said earlier. Like you kind of do want your fundamentals, and you want your pitch to like almost be a concentric circle, like this one circle, but like you can't always. You do have to stretch it a little bit, but of course, the further you stretch, the less convincing you. Like there's more holes to poke.
Right.
So it's a balancing game. Like I said, so like look at who you are, look at who you're talking to, then kind of make that adjustment. Like, because it is true. Like if you have nothing about AI, then people don't also want to look at you.
Yeah.
But also, if you're too unconvincing and people are
Correct.
excited about you, you probably got stupid money.
Right.
But if you want good money and you want to be convincing,
Correct.
it's that kind of balancing act, I think.
So we want to build that, and Dima's got the context. We know the people we want to have on our team.
Yeah.
But at this point, we can't afford them.
So it's a question of like your investment thesis and your execution thesis. Like at phase 1, what am I proving out and what am I raising on? And then at the next level of phase 2 of the thesis, then we talk about that, right? And then like if people want to talk about long-term vision, then you talk about that later on. But like this is what we're solving now. This is what you're buying. This is what you're getting. This is your return, right? And be very convincing about that if that's more natural for you. Like if you're not gonna because I say I'm not gonna give money to you guys because you guys don't have the AI expert to build networks, but you're talking about building networks,
Right.
which means your focus is split, and it's not focused on solving the problem for the clinic. I'm going to be doing nerd shit, doing neural network, training, which is like highly specialized, and I don't see it. And then you're going to be trying to do that or convincing someone to overpay them and use all the funds. Well, they'll train the network, but then there was no value because you could have just validated the idea of doing regular SaaS. See what I mean? So depends. It could be. Just depends on what your thesis is. And if you don't have clarity around your thesis, how you're going to execute the clarity around what the right priorities at what step, and what you're pitching, then there's a disconnect. And then this is why a lot of people kind of it gets messy. They fail, they mix it up, right? And so, not easy. Go to market. Okay. Was this important slide, do you think, for anyone else? Do they care about this? You guys are product market fit.
After 1 hour discussion, I don't think so. Important slide.
Depends, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Do I care? I feel like, I say this. If you had convinced me in the first 2/3 of this, then I probably would care.
Yeah.
But if you haven't convinced me, you're probably just,
Right.
like, I'm not going to look at it, right?
Yeah.
So, 2024, looking at, yes, I guess, okay, that's in line. So your 2024 goals kind of align what you talked about. You're trying to solve these things for these clinics, make appointments easier. You got 10 clients already. 2026, what happened to you're doing 2025 as well. Okay, I see. So 2026, step 2, more features. Yeah, I think this is not as convincing because you're in product market fit, and I could tell that. So say in the first 10 minutes, I already can suss out these guys are still product market fit.
Right.
But then like you haven't even done your door-to-door sales. Like how do I know your roadmap is convincing from a product standpoint? And what's the key thing to solve? And that has to be very clear from the problem solution standpoint, from a narrative standpoint, you know what I mean? Testimonials. Yeah, I think testimonials are probably one of the most important things for traction. Like if these are all paying customers.
Yep, these are paying customers.
It's more like, I don't know where along your pitch people have a problem with, but like if it has to do with traction, put this after you've talked about like product, for example. Like if say people find your product not convincing, then you put this after. Oh, but these are the testimonials from paid customers. Put that up sooner in the sequence. You know what I mean? But in general, like testimonials can be good, assuming that they're.
What's your suggestion? It should be second slide or third slide?
Hard to say. Depends on what the feedback is. Yeah, it's a good question. Like, where was I tripped up on, and would that have alleviated my concerns? Market sizing, maybe. I don't know. I find it very unconvincing that your market's going to be big enough. But then guess what? Here's the kernel of truth. People are paying. And this is what they're saying that they're paying for. Then there's like, oh, I didn't think of that. A patient would be of that nature, of that profile. This is what they're paying for. Therefore, maybe there's a market I don't know about. So maybe I'm wrong, right? Something like that. I don't know. You have to think about it from a very logical narration standpoint. Like what's going to be convincing. And then everyone has different problems. That's the tricky part. Everyone has they like different parts of your deck and they hate different parts of your deck. So like you have to kind of figure that out. But testimonials, assuming they're from real traction, can be powerful. But if they're like nonsense, like I signed an MOU or I'm in this stupid PR article, like I don't like give a shit like about that. You know, I want like something that get hard money, right? Yeah, again, same thing with clients. You know, So you're showing pipeline. You got one contract signed. It's almost better, like, for example, if you use this deck now, it says contract under negotiation, then 3 months later you email them,
it's done.
it's done. Then they're like, that helps you maybe, reel them in a little bit closer. So again, like traction, everything we said we could throw out the window for this whole episode, as long as your traction's just going up like that, right? But the problem is it's hard to say when you're on the curve, it looks flat.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the tricky thing you have to kind of figure out. But so the thing is like, anything that has to do with traction and you actually focusing that as the main priority and growing that with clarity and it de-risks your venture, then you kind of want to put that in. Like that's very powerful, right? Traction just trumps everything. It's like the movie, The Social Network, Mark Zuckerberg coming in slippers on a napkin, right? Pitching, and then he gets 500,000 for Peter Thiel, right? Traction it's all that matters. So team slide. Yeah. So are you guys credible? Are you guys the right people to solve this problem at the right time? The right combination. You guys are married to each other. Will you guys fall apart? So Dimitri's a product guy. You're a domain expert. Pros and cons to domain expert, right? The pros are that, you could be a user and you know what to build for yourself. At the same time, though, you have tunnel vision too sometimes. Sometimes you get stuck at, you think it has to be solved this way. But
preconceived notions.
Correct. So you got to be careful with that or know how to explain that. Dimitry is a product guy. Product guys, Reid Hoffman was a product guy. You could be very successful, Silicon Valley, make billion-dollar companies. You don't have to be the tech guy always. So you have access to a tech team, right? Which is nice, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So there's some inherent advantage. Famously, Pinterest was built by outsourced team of India, right? And then later on, they were acquired as a company to become the actual tech team. So there are exceptions to the norm, but some people are kind of obsessed with like the YC Bible, where you have to be a tech founder. You have to have technical knowledge, and because especially if you're talking about LLMs and stuff. So if you are not talking about LLMs, then maybe this is more excusable. But once you throw an A in a conversation, your whole thesis kind of falls apart because no matter how true you are, you're the wrong person to solve it. So you got to be careful about team slide matters a lot, actually, right? And just it's not putting a name and things. It's more like the right people and the combination knowing how to explain it. So. Okay. And then it says, join us revolutionizing patient engagement. Yeah, is it a revolution? I don't know. Yeah, I want to think about that.
Let's come back to the team slide. We borrowed a team from my first company. They are amazing guys. Yeah. If you see us, guys, you're beautiful. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you want to jump? Let's do another 10, 15 minutes on product then. See, so in theory, if we had just gotten through this in 20 minutes, we could spend an hour on talking about product, which is way more valuable. But maybe for next time we meet.
Yes, let's do it next time and do it like 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, let's do 5 minutes then. How does the product work? Maybe we could show a little demo for the audience, or how can I see this in action? Do you have demo or no?
My laptop is already almost died.
I have the charger.
Let's do it the next time.
Next time? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Another lesson for learning then that can't have laptops diving in product demos, these kind of things. Be prepared. Yeah. Right? Thanks. You had a chance to show the audience, maybe hundreds of people, how this works, get them excited, evangelize, right? So, but it's okay. But I think we got a lot. I kind of understand, even after going through it.
Yeah, thank you for your feedback.
Yeah. Hopefully useful for you guys.
No, I think it's useful, and I think it will be useful for the audience as well.
Hopefully,
I mean, it's a journey for us as well. I mean, it's my first journey into startup. So
yeah, how does that feel?
It's scary.
Does your family approve, or is there a lot of Asian shame?
Yeah, I know. When I was first started, I mean, I'm not young. I'm in my late 40s. So when I first started, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I never did because family pressure, Asia, right? Get a good job, keep your head down, grow in the corporate career. So that happened for a while, but because I'm at this late stage in my life and I wanted to try something different, and so I'm stepping into entrepreneurship at a very late stage. Okay. And I'm meeting a lot of young people with a lot of energy. So it's scary. It's scary in a different way. And part of it is because my kids are proud of me
Oh,
for
good.
trying.
Okay,
You know,
good.
you give
Motivation's important.
you give that
Definitely
whole mantra
motivation.
to your kids, right? You know,
Yeah.
don't be afraid of failure. Go
Yeah.
out there, try stuff. You know,
Yeah.
be brave. And I feel like I should live up to that myself. So,
Yeah, walk the walk.
What's your motivation? Is it money?
oh, for me,
Yeah.
no, it's self-actualization. I've always wanted to do it, but I never
Yeah.
did. So this is my chance of you live one life. You know,
Yeah.
just go ahead.
Yeah.
And if you're not afraid of failure, you know,
Well, but what Paul Graham says is very important about motivations. You can check out his essay later, but in general, you have to know your motivations.
right?
I know my
Yeah,
motivation.
and it can't. I mean, money can be motivation, but it can't be the only thing.
No.
It has to be money.
I
plus
think
something.
money is my...
You still need some motivation around that, because if I
I
give you
would say money is the third place. The
Yeah.
first place for
Okay.
me is to do something useful for millions. The second thing is
Yeah.
my team
Yeah.
and the people who I work with,
Okay.
and Chen as
Yeah.
well.
So that sounds similar, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
almost what she's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's close off then, so people can understand you guys as founders more. Where does this motivation come from, and why?
Mine is it's self-actualization. It's something I've always wanted to do.
Okay, but why? Why do you need to self-actualize? Why not keep living this veneer of corporate and?
I have to give it a go to try it because you only live one life, and I feel it's important to get this out of my system. I've always
Okay,
wanted
so
to
you
be
have this
entrepreneurship.
internal feeling.
Yes, that it's
This
something
itch.
that yes,
Okay.
this itch that I have to try it.
Because you kind of regretted maybe not doing it earlier.
Exactly.
Okay, so then, okay, I understand. That's understandable. You? Where does this well of need? Why does it have to be millions of people? Why do you have an impact? What is enough?
No, I would say something... I don't know how to explain.
I wish I could speak Russian. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, not only in Russian, not only in English.
Yeah.
Say it in Russian, and then after that, explain it.
No, my motivation is I would say to build something that really helps people.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my motivation. I'm
Yeah. So you
I'm
said-
a
you
guy
said
who,
that. Yeah.
who want to help
Yeah.
not a million, thousands. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
But where does it come from?
I don't know. In my soul, I am
Family, culture, trauma,
I don't
baggage?
know. I don't know.
want to be a hero?
No, maybe trauma. I don't know.
Maybe think about it. Maybe next time we meet, you can tell me. It's good to identify them so you know how to use them.
Yeah.
It's very important. Very important. You keep saying you want to help people, but why? You know.
Sean, on this journey, I've met all
in my
these
soul,
entrepreneurs.
deep inside of my soul, I'm
Just
a
a builder.
doctor. I'm a doctor.
You're a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in a former life, you were a doctor. That's what it is. You want to keep helping people. All right. Perfect, guys. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Yeah. And then hopefully
Thank
you
you.
guys can iterate to product market fit, and then we can keep in touch along your race.
Yeah.
Thank you.
When we do find it, I'll be excited to tell you
Yes.
that, okay,
Yes.
Alex, I found it.
You did it.
It's this.
But
Okay.
remember, it's a moving target always.
No, it's always.
It's always a
yeah.
moving target. The product will keep changing, and then you got to keep up with it.
But it's the journey.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's a journey. We're learning, we're enjoying, and we're discovering things. And it's so different from having a corporate career. The
Yeah.
people I've met on this journey, it's so interesting. I think entrepreneurs are a very different breed.
Oh yeah.
They're
I
so,
think most people shouldn't do this. It's
yeah,
just- it's
I
just-
know. It's a little bit crazy.
It's too crazy.
Yeah, but it's still fun. It's a
Yeah.
really different group
Yeah.
of people, and I think people should try this. It's scary. It's like bungee jumping in a way.
When you're young and there's less risk, definitely I agree. But as I get older and see a lot of my peers going through this, it's extremely painful. It's the highs are crazy high, the lows are just too
Yeah.
low. They're too low.
They're
And
too
you guys
low.
are early in the journey.
We're,
so-
we're very early in the journey.
yeah, but
Yeah.
you
I can
imagine-
say about myself that I have high risk tolerance.
He does.
That's good.
What about you?
Yes, I think so too. I mean, I'm doing it the other way around because most people start their entrepreneurship early and then after that they change track
Yeah.
to get something safer.
Yeah.
I've done that safer mode and then now I'm on to something riskier. So
Yeah.
it's the other way around. Yeah. So so yes, I've jumped into this because I think I've got a high risk tolerance.
Yeah, you wouldn't be doing this late stage. You could just get another job, right? So.
Right, get another job, or semi-retirement mode.
Correct.
Put everything in a savings fund and just chill.
Yeah. Okay, guys. All right. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks,
Thank
Alex.
you.
Sure.
All right.
Thanks, Alex.
Yes.